Hey everybody, it's Casual Boops coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to cover the Derp God, the legendary KV-2, the Tier 6 Soviet heavy tank, and this tank has been in the game for a very long time, and it's one of my favorites. It just almost always yields a really good time and a good laugh, and so I figured today we would cover it. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get into the stats, and you'll notice about a lot of the red here. TanksGG is very confused. So the tank gets many guns as an option, and it thinks that the 107mm is the top gun, and that's, you can do that, but at that point you're just a bad T-150. So the tank, the gun you're supposed to use is the 152mm howitzer gun, and so when you switch to that, it tries to automatically compare the stats of the big derp gun to the 107mm gun, so that's why it is what it is. So yeah, notable things here. View range is awful, the crew is huge, the health is just okay, I mean, it's very, very slow. Gun depression is workable at 7, right? Very slow shell velocity, very bad dispersion. there's a lot of stuff that's not really going for it. So Boops, why do you like this tank? Because it's awesome. Okay, so you tap 3, right? You should be shooting almost nothing but HE out of this thing, and then occasionally I keep a handful of the premium AP rounds. The standard AP rounds with 110mm of penetration, those are garbage and almost never usable. Very occasionally you can throw one of these in there and you can pen a TOG for 700. But usually your standard shell is going to be this HE round, and when you do pen, you're doing around 900 at tier 6 every 18 seconds or so. So that is what is amazing about this tank. And yeah, if you haven't used it, if you haven't played this thing, this is like a tank that everybody should have in their garage, I think, because it's just some of the most fun you can have in World of Tanks, to be honest. Equipment loadout is going to vary a little bit. I think the things that are definitely going to be required are a rammer and a rotation mechanism. Equipment-wise, this is what you probably should run. And then I think you could make the argument, depending on you know, if you're going to either do vents or possibly a gun laying drive. Those are the things I would recommend. You're going to hear people say, "Oh, but the aiming unit," and that's not a bad idea necessarily. It brings it from 0.58 to 0.55, but at the same time, like, it's more about like that. An aiming unit isn't the worst idea ever, but the other things about it, the aim time is god awful. So you could make the argument for a gun lane drive for that, for the aiming time. Also, the reload time is also very bad. So you could make the argument for vents. This slot is optional. I think you could make the argument for quite a few different options. Binoculars are not a good idea, obviously, in camo net and stuff. And yeah, unless you're trying to 3-mark things, you probably shouldn't even bother with optics. You are meant to play this thing close. The view range is bad enough so that you're not meant to be on the red line. Like, because with 0.56 dispersion, you're not going to hit those shots. So anyways, so that's kind of the stats and the equipment, so on and so forth. It's the big stupid derp gun. So like the armor model, the live model, and this is why the tank is amazing. Let's get the 152 and the HE round. Okay, so this is a KV-2 shooting at itself with the HE round, with the derp gun. So this is useful to know because oftentimes when you're playing a KV-2, you will face other KV-2s. And it is useful to know you can one-shot a KV-2 with your own KV-2, but you usually just have to aim for a flat spot, and you have to know the parts where you can pen and things like that. And so penning the turret face like this, not the mantlet, but the turret face of a KV-2 is gonna, 75% of the chance is gonna get you a pen. If you can look down at any of this stuff, this is all easy mode. Obviously, well, this one apparently not. Something I'm not sure, but the front part where the hull kind of flattens out, that's gold. But yeah, you can see, like, if you're gonna compare it to, let me see here, versus let's just say some other tier 6, whatever, 3D model. The armor's not really there. That's the moral of the story. It doesn't really have armor. You will occasionally get troll bounces off of the mantlet, and stuff. I mean, Stalin's mustache will protect you, and occasionally you'll have these auto bouncy things. But for the most part, you don't really play the KV-2 for the armor. You mainly played for the big stupid gun. And so yeah, but it is useful to know like what things like you're gonna get the most out of this tank if you understand at tiers, you know, what is it, tier 5, 6, and 7, and 8, which tanks have weak spots and which tanks are made with no armor that you can pen, and those are the ones you aim for, right? So like the sides of, let me see, I just had this happen earlier today, where somebody was playing their handy-dandy little VK32M, and they had their side at me, you know, not very well angled toward me, and I was in my KV-2 with my big stupid derp gun, and it was one of these, and I penned. I told something like this, and I penned him for 1,000 damage. So, like, it's useful to know at what point you can. I don't know why the armor model is freaking out when it comes to AP rounds or HE rounds. It doesn't really like to, but you can see you can pen things, right? So it's the KV-2 is fun regardless, but if you know how to use it and which things you can pen and which things you can't pen, it becomes just that much more enjoyable. And so I think it's amazing and tons of fun, always good for a laugh. And you can punish T-67 seal clubbers by one-shotting them, assuming you can hit them. So anyways, without further ado, we'll get into the game. Alright, so we're going to start out watching me play in the KV-2, and I'm joined here today by Schwacked, who is the other KV-2 in the platoon. Schwacked, say hi to the world.
Hello, world.
Excellent. So we're going to be playing on, what is this, Providence? This is a terrible map, but, I start out just shooting around just downrange, just because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And right away, Schwacked and I are going to head to the 1-0 or the 1-2 line, because in my opinion, the only way to win this map is to go across the bottom. For the most part, like if you start in the top spawn and you try to push down the 9-0, you are going to lose and die. And likewise, if you start on the bottom spawn and you push across the 1-2 line, almost always you're going to lose and die. So we cross into the middle, and what do you know? We see the enemy team doing a 1-2 push, which is uncharacteristic, but you know, I'm not too worried about it at this point, because we can still farm. Somehow have an artillery here in a very aggressive, uncharacteristic position, but you know.
Artillery throughout this entire game were in interesting positions.
Interesting positions. I mean, you know, innovative positions. That M12 is an innovator. So
you're gonna see me start to delay here because I'm really worried about just getting schwacked by artillery.
Yep. Because the further up we go, yes, the further up we go, you can see the T-29 is getting slapped, and we're getting proxy spotted. You can see the little proximity thing on my mini map where we are lit, even though they can't see us, because and there it is. And so this is one of those where lol, armor doesn't matter, where I kind of want to. I don't want to let them come around the corner too much, because otherwise that hillside will block them from our friendly tank destroyers at the base. But at the same time, we can't just let them. We've got to punish them for their stupidity. So.
Yeah, that AT had a lot of fun.
He did have fun. He drove out, turned twice, and then and it's getting kind of cramped in here too. So I figured, you know, let's let the. All right, now that the Caro is a one-shot, I decided to push forward and end the struggle. Problem solved. And now we can get to the point where we're not proxy spotted anymore, and we can get in a place that is a little more strategic. And Schwack and I like to go to this top little ridge up where the MT-25 is going, play some vision games, and so that's what we're gonna do. See if we can thread a shot in on the way in there. And
oh, what a
yes!
shot!
Yes, success! I am better than him apparently.
3 pixels, no aiming.
Lol. And you got to stay low on this ridge, and I'm, you know, you see, if I would have been closer to that enemy tank, I would have been further up on the ridge, and I could have gotten shot. But because I was further back, the hillside was enough there to protect me, and so that's why I did what I did there. And now we're just gonna try to stay already safe, and that MT-25 is showing us he's gone too far, right? There's not enough that's spotted.
And since we're in a platoon at this point, we're talking about who's taking what position. And splitting up our approach.
Right. And that's key. If you're in a platoon with somebody, you know, it's always good to platoon with in tanks that are complementary in some way, so that you can at least work together in some fashion to. Schwacked managed to get a good shot on the KV-2 there, and we noticed they were both looking at him. Since they were both looking at him, and it's a Hellcat, I figured, okay, maybe I can pen Hellcats.
I think at this point we actually did a countdown for poking.
Yes. Right. We tried to both poke at the same time, so that we could slap both of these guys, and I dipped it up a little bit and messed my shot up.
And then there's a twofer.
And then Schwacked goes ahead and gets a bombardier. And now we have a problem back here. This Caro has been very brave, but all we needed to do was delay. We have a bunch of hit points here, so I wanted to make sure I had a good shot.
Yeah. You make it sound like it was all calm. I was squealing like a little girl.
But he had to shoot you three or four times, and so you were definitely going to have enough time to shoot him at least twice. And then I was there, so like that was not a winning engagement for him at all.
No, pushing around that corner ended his game.
And I didn't have a clean shot on the STRV, but you just had to send it. He was going to pull out, and I wasn't going to have much of a shot anyways, since he was pulling around the corner. So I figured you just got to send it off.
And there goes the Cromwell, sitting up there just lining that up.
And so now it's just Schwacked and I on the 1-2 line. And then they have a whole bunch of enemies on the 9-0, but we've held out pretty good at our base. And it's notoriously difficult to push into the base from anywhere on this map. From either, like, it's hard to push down on both sides. God, you were right, the artillery. That guy was in the middle of the, like, why?
Yeah, they're all over the place. And
I don't understand.
if you look at our base, the reason that's hard, if you're not familiar with it, is that the buildings and then the terrain, the way it cuts out, creates a natural crossfire. So it's very difficult to push in.
And there's a lot of bushes in the very back too, so it's we have an artillery. A 3-marked Crusader SP, a professional scumbag, is on the run. And I was trying to line a shot up on the KV-2, but obviously did not manage to, he pulled back.
I can't remember where I hit him from, or when I hit him, but I do.
You sent one back? Lol. And I was trying to get to this bush because I thought if he's running, I want to be able to put some vision out there and spot him as he runs up the ramp. And at this point I'm thinking, alright, he's too fast. I've already lost him. I don't know. That's why I'm kind of waiting for him to appear. And on this point, it's just patience. It's just at this point, because the enemy is going to have a really hard time pushing into us. And, okay, STRV. And those things are made... That's a great tank. STRV 74 is one of my faves at Tier 6. But it's made of paper, and so I'm just searching for the shot, hoping he'll do that again. Or our KV-2 could proxy spot him. That's what I'm hoping for as well. Because every tank has that little 50-meter circle around them, where if you are an enemy tank, within that circle you are spotted, even if they don't have line of sight. So if that KV-2 were to come inside the, come a little further to the west, he could, moving the turret very slowly, because I want to lead the target and...
Nice shot.
But yes, thank you. This is all skill, 100%. And we have, this STRV has nowhere to go, right? Aside from just leaving, there's nowhere he can be. So I know... Oh, and there he goes. Wait.
Oh, skilled.
Goodbye. Good night.
I'm hunting...
the
straight
two artillery
at this point,
And he just shot. The M12 just shot our Caro. And so I figured if he was back there by Schwacked, he would have been lit. So I think both of us at this point just kind of deduced that he must not be there. And I was contemplating going down this cliff until we find the Crusader. And I'm just kind of waiting for our opportunity. Like, at this point I have a good field of fire on most of the map that's relevant. So Sniper KV-2 is best KV-2. And Schwacked is just going to put the pedal to the metal. Yeah,
we're going to find it with our face now.
I think I might have just sailed that just barely over his top right. I mean, it's a 500-meter shot.
You gave somebody a haircut.
It was close, I'll take it. That's closer than I expected KV-2 to be. So T-78 is... T-78's bitten off a little more than he can chew. Get balanced, clicker. Ah, vindication. And then you went in for the shot here on the Crusader, right? And I anticipated this Cromwell was going to do something to you here. Just waiting.
That's what happens when I don't aim.
And to lead the shot, get balanced.
So this time I just back off and then pull back around and very carefully aim and just let the gun behave.
Yep. Because if you rush it, that's when mistakes happen, right? Man. And the other KV-2. So KV-2 saves the day, and that's the game. Ended up with 10 kills between the two of us. So.
And I think I had done the math, and it was 5,600 out of a possible 12K on damage. So, fairly good day.
Yep. All right. So at the end of the game, I ended up picking up 3,600 damage and 5 kills, and just a hair over 500 spotting, and a top gun and a high caliber, and a natural brothers in arms. Schwacked ended up with 1,615. Sorry, that's how much. That's how much damage. 1,615 damage and 5 kills for himself, and 1,105 base XP for him. 1,514 base XP for me. Yeah, good times. Good times were had by all.
Well, it was a good game. We were happy to share 152 millimeters of love.
Right. And so this is not the most exceptional KV-2 game that has ever happened, but I figured that, this is probably something that's entertaining enough. Bombardiers don't happen very often. 10 kills in a platoon doesn't happen that often. And since I had the premium version of the KV-2, the KV-2R, I ended up pulling a profit of, I think it was 112,000 credits. But I guess 40 of that was personal reserves, so about 80,000 credits. So anyways, that's the game, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you don't have a KV-2, you should go buy one now, because this is something that everyone should enjoy, I feel like. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.